Welcome back to your instant match reaction. Spurs have beaten Southampton by 5-0 in what was an emphatic victory. All 5 goals coming in one rampant first half at St Mary's. James Madison at the double. In fact, we were dominant from minute one, quite literally. Madison putting Spurs ahead after the first minute. We were 3-0 up inside of, what was it,
27 minutes.
27 minutes, 2-0 up after 12 minutes. 2 goals from Madison, 1 goal from Son, 1 goal from Sarr, and another from Kulusevski. We had the job done in the first half, and we did clearly take our foot off the gas in the second half and kind of we took it easy, I think it's fair to say, in that second half. But exactly what we needed ahead of a very difficult week, ahead of what was a lot of pressure mounting on Ange specifically, and the team, a lot of questions being asked. And I wouldn't say, this was a response to it, but, runs have to start somewhere, I should say, and we have to we played Southampton away. It could have been a tricky game. I've seen them take points off the likes of Brighton, gave Liverpool a very, very difficult game when they played at St Mary's, gave City a tough game at the Etihad. So it was, potential to be a bit of a banana skin, I would say, given the fact that we've already lost to Ipswich this season. And we took that pressure and absolutely thrived in it. We battered them 5-0, and just what we needed, isn't it, Ash?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect timing, perfect opponent for us, seeing how, we've been performing of late, some of the results. And we were due, I think, that type of result where, someone's on the end of a hiding, because the way we play is very attacking. They like to play out from the back. We will force a lot of errors indirectly. And I think we really played to that level today. There was a lot of big performances, in my opinion. From, you say, Madison, Spence, I thought was exceptional today. Albeit it was the bottom of the league team, but nonetheless, you still have to beat the team that's in front of you. And I think for most fans right now, because they still got that kind of hangover, there were a lot of Spurs fans that were pessimistic going into this game, wasn't sure if we would get over the line. But
Ben predicted a draw going into this game.
Did he? Yeah. Imagine. No, I was quite optimistic. I thought we would win this game. I wasn't sure about the United or the Liverpool game to come. And I think where most fans' heads are at the moment is, can we get a run together? Can Ange go more than 3 games unbeaten? Do you know what I mean? Can we win back-to-back games and, use this as a stepping stone? But it's just typical that, after, I think it was our first win since City, wasn't it?
It's our first win since City, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Second win in 9 games.
Yeah. So when you say it like that, we still got a lot of work to do, and you still got a bit to do. We do climb the table from 13th. Was we before?
Yeah, we are up into 10th now.
We're into 10th right now, so that is positive. But
as much as we're down in 10th, we closed the gap to 5th to 4 points, 5 points off Forest. Forest are currently 4th on 28, so 5 points behind them. So it's extremely congested. A couple of wins, all of a sudden, you're looking at the top 5 again. So that's a positive.
Yeah, we are ahead of some of our competitors. I know Manchester United got an important win today as well. So it's important that we keep pushing on. Europa is important, I think, to finish in that kind of position. Champions League is obviously the aim, but we're quite a way off of that. But I think to keep players, because I think that's a concern for a lot of fans at the moment. If we're not playing in those type of top tier, European competitions, it's going to be harder to keep hold of players and to build on that as well, because we want to attract top talents as well. And if we're not in that type of conversation, that's when things become a bit of a problem. We start to see a bit of a drop off. But coming back into this game, I just thought, the only thing I would say is I would like to see Dom Solanke a little bit higher up. I did notice that the centre backs were a little bit deeper today. And so fair play to Ange, he tweaked a little bit, The full-backs weren't inverting as much, in my opinion, especially on that right-hand side when Spence started. I thought he was on the outside a bit more. Kulu as well didn't really tuck in as much. Normally we're seeing him kind of, advance into that midfield a bit more. But he kind of held that right-hand side a bit more disciplined, and it helped our overall structure. I think Son was the furthest forward. He got his just deserves as well. Could he have been more clinical? Yeah, some would argue, but overall I was happy with his performance and the positions he was taking up to get those chances as well. But yeah, I thought we looked quite dominant as well in that midfield when we needed to be transitional. When we had to do kind of like mid-block, at times we did that. We worked with him, and we controlled the game as well. I felt there was a level of control. We needed when to slow it down, albeit in the second half we didn't create that much chances. But it was good to see both sides of Spurs not just attacking, but also controlling the tempo, slowing it down, weathering storms when needed be. Not that they created too much in that second half anyway, but that was my assessment of it.
Yeah, I think second half was always going to be a bit of a drop off, especially 5-0 up. They were probably waiting for the game to finish, and we know we've got a lot of injuries. We don't really need to keep pushing and keep pressing and hounding, albeit. There was. I'm not saying we put in no effort. It was just clearly we eased it off in that second half. I think that was clear. But first half was so dominant. Obviously, no one expected us to be 5-0 up at half time, which is exactly what we needed and showed, what we're still capable of. I know it's against Southampton, but it still showed, because early start against Chelsea, we were 2-0 up in that game, and obviously we let it slip. But I said in the preview, if we have that start in this game and we're 2-0 up, we're not going to let it slip. In fact, we'll probably push on. That's exactly what we did. So, obviously. Big talking points. Starts for Spence and Bergvall. Spence, within a minute, getting a brilliant assist for Madison's goal in that first minute. And was today for you, Spence maybe not answering back, but like showing or asking the question, why haven't I been played more? Well, after that performance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on the half turn, that's what you want to see from players, evading pressure. Cool and collective under pressure as well. First touch, close to the body, getting it out of his feet, making those runs in behind. Because sometimes I was saying it's not always what he's doing on the ball, it's what he's doing off the ball as well. Even in terms of when we're attacking, he's making runs into the box, runs into the half space, taking players with him, being a threat. And then also defending. I said, look at that engine on him to be able to sprint back and help his team out. So also as well, when he was defending in those tight areas, he didn't give any free kicks away. I felt he was quite mature in that particular area, and helping out Archie Gray a lot when he did switch over onto the left hand side, because he didn't just play right back; he played left back as well. So showing his versatility, and his game didn't alter. Some players they might drop off. He still was passing with the same precision. Also, weight of pass was good, even on that left hand side. Helping some of our attacks on that side as well. And it's just showing his flexibility. So he was asking a lot of questions saying, why haven't I been playing since that Coventry game?
Within a minute, he gets that assist. And what a great assist it was as well.
Brilliant assist it was. As I said, the weight of pass was perfect for Madison. Madison didn't have to do too much, in my opinion, after that ball was played in from Spence to bring it home. And may long continue. And now Porro has got questions now that... he's there. We'll have to wait to see what happens with Doggy, because obviously he picked up a thigh injury. It looked like a muscle strain. I'm not too sure, but we'll see what happens in that next game, whether he's rested and if he'll be fit to play against Manchester United, or if, we're going to have to see Spence as a left back. We'll have to wait and see. But overall for me, I was happy with Spence and what he brought to that team, especially that we didn't have experience all across the back four in terms of Archie Gray having to fill in as a centre back. You need someone to help out, and I think he did well.
Yeah, and as you say, it was in terms of squad selection and having players available in terms of for the future of this season, there was a lot of positives there. As you say, Gray had his first start in the Premier League as a centre-back and kept a clean sheet. I know, again, it's only Southampton, but we know that they can be a good... they can play some good football at times, and he obviously dealt with Adam Armstrong very, very comfortably. Lucas Bergvall, let's talk about him. Obviously, a start, he played 90 minutes in the end, didn't he? Did end up getting booked, but was a fairly accomplished display. I thought... built off those good cameos he's had, and he's come into the team. I don't think he was maybe outstanding in that midfield, but he didn't look out of his depth, should we say. He didn't look like he belonged there.
I agree. There was times when I was like, as a midfielder, you need to take less touches at times. I think that comes down to scanning, knowing the pitch, and also your teammates. They need to help you out, have a little talk to you to say, look, maybe less touches there. I'm here, I'm free. But I did like any time he was available, he was coming short, or he was trying to pick up areas of the pitch where he made himself available, especially central. And as a midfielder, you need to pick up those positions. It's very important that you hold your position and you're not ill-disciplined. And I felt he showed that discipline in that position. What I'd like to see more of him do is that kind of, and I know he's got it in his locker, the switches of play, those balls over the top, long balls, that would kind of help the team overall and give something a little bit different to what maybe Basuma offers, because Basuma, in terms of range of passing, doesn't always demonstrate that range, and I think that's what Bergvall could improve on. But overall, I would say, again, I would have to agree. Obviously, he got a bit of cramp at the end, and that's expected because he hasn't played that many games, so he's getting used to the pace and the speed of the game. But yeah, he didn't shy away from me, especially those opening moments. He was quite assertive, getting forward as well, and he mixed it up well with Sarr. It wasn't always him in the six. Sometimes he pushed forward and Sarr was able to swap over, and sometimes he was happy to be in the six and take the ball off like Forster from the goal kicks, etc., and from the centre backs. He was able to drop in and then progress the ball and do little things like that. So yeah, man, I'm happy with Bergvall.
Yeah, I think he did well, and 5-0 win on his Premier League debut. That should give him the world of confidence. Obviously, Dorrington came on late on as well, made his Premier League debut. Lancashire as well. We ended the game with 4 teenagers on the pitch. Apparently, I'm just reading on Twitter, Spurs are the first team in the Premier League this season to have 4 teenagers on the pitch at the same time. So that goes to show, first of all, how stretched we are squad-wise, but also the potential we do have for the future of this team. And obviously, people are not happy with where we are in the league, and understandably so, but it shouldn't be denied that we do have a good crop of players coming through and a lot of talent, and hopefully with patience, that crop of players will come to pass and will, be very beneficial.
Just on that really quickly, we did say in commentary that Dorrington did make a mistake there, but at the same time, he needs to learn, do you know what I mean, and have those mistakes. And perfect scenario to come in at 5-0 up. Do you know what I mean? Against Southampton, who's struggling for form, and be allowed to make those mistakes away from home and learn on the job, because that's the only way he's going to do. That's the only way the manager's going to see if he's ready or not, by him making those small little errors to see if he can cope with the pace and tenacity and decision making. Because I feel like for a lot of young players, they do have the skill set, they do have the profiles, the characteristics that we need in our team, but it's just whether they have A, the mentality, and B, I would say just the actual football IQ, knowing when to make that forward pass or to make a brave pass, and then we'll know when actually, no, I need to keep it simple and short and keep the ball ticking and maybe not put the team under pressure. I think that's what separates the Diblins from someone from our side, an 18-year-old coming in and trying to earn their trade, if that makes sense.
Definitely. In terms of our big hitters that have come under, especially recently, quite a lot of criticism. Talk about James Madison. Got 2 goals today, 2 really good finishes as well from him. One late run in the box, obviously, good ball from Spence in behind, good finish 1-on-1, and then the second one, brilliant finish from a tight angle. That takes his tally to in 12 goal contributions in 13 starts. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive numbers for him. And for a player that's come under a lot of criticism, for not having a good season. I mean, are those numbers not reflective of how good he's been, do you think?
If I'm going to play devil's advocate, or angel's advocate, should I say, I would say that when we're playing the big games, or important games, when we're struggling, that's when you look to your talisman. That's when you look towards your Mavericks. That's when you look towards James Madison and picking up the team, lifting the team up, getting the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think too many times when we have struggled against our opposition, where the momentum's actually gone against us and the tide's turned, we look for those type of players. And then people have criticised Spurs not having leaders. That's when you're looking for Madison's. And I think that's when he's been criticised. And not so much because of the physical element. I think that's a part of it. In Premiership, you need power and physicality. But I would disagree, and I agree with you, Sim.
That goal contributions.
He's a player that lots of players are going to target, and try and foul. And because his feet are so quick, we mentioned that he's going to be drawing a lot of players in to try and tackle him and losing those duels. But actually, I think with Madison, play him in the right position, play him further forward, and you're going to see the best of him. So it's down to players like Sarr and Bergvall to do their job, to allow Madison to thrive. It's not a single man job. But yeah, I agree with you. You said before, I think the critique on Madison is harsh, seeing that he's actually performing better than Kulu in terms of output. And it's what do? Do you look at output or do you look at aesthetics? And I think that's what people are doing with Kulu at the moment.
Yeah, but Madison sometimes gets criticised for not having the output, and then this season, as I say, it's 11 goal contributions in 13 starts. Like that's good output.
It doesn't lie. The stats don't lie. So
right, so that shows he's still providing, and we're only halfway through the season, so that could do really well. Talking about another player, another big hitter in Heung-min Son. 1 goal and 2 assists tonight in what was a very, very strong performance from him, and they struggled to contain Sonny, I think, for a lot of that game. Again, for him, 12 starts, 11 goal contributions. So again, he's been coming in for a lot of criticism, but do you think it's been overboard, or do you think the criticism for him, about him being washed and all this stuff, is that fair criticism?
Again, like that's the whole, is he the captain, is he vocal enough? I think against the Chelsea team, he came off crying. Do you know what I mean? Do you want that from your captain? I think so. Some of the critique has been harsh because they're saying he's lost a yard of pace. I just think he hasn't been as sharp in front of goal, in my opinion. I think that's where he's let himself down, and he knows that. He can see when he's missing chances that he expects a lot more from himself. And I think where it is, because he's playing out wide, he's playing on the left, people associate a left winger to be tricky and beat their man on the outside all the time. And I don't think Son does that frequently. I think at times, yes, he can do it, but at times he comes inside, he drifts inside, he kind of runs in that kind of half space in the pockets, gets in the box, and then that's when he gets his bread and butter, he gets his shots on goal. We saw it against Chelsea at times when he did, get the ball outside the box and try to do those old school curlers that he used to do all the time. And I think fans want to see that a lot more. And they know Son's level. And when we're not seeing that, and I asked you, what's acceptable for Son, for the end of the season? You said 10 goals and 10 assists. And I said, for Son, that's probably one of his lower goal contributions for the season. Do you know what I mean? At this stage already, he's got 6 goals, I think it is.
It's 5 goals and 6 assists.
Well, 5 goals and 6 assists.
I'm saying in 12 starts, because he's been injured as well. Yeah, again, 11 goal contribution. So his output is still there, clearly. His output is still fairly consistently getting goals and assists, it shows to me. I know, look, he got 3 today, so that bumps up the numbers a bit. But still, I think... even against Chelsea, I know, again, he missed a few chances, but he still ended up scoring a goal. I think at the moment... I think he's coming for a lot of criticism, but I think he's playing better than people give him credit for, in my opinion. And I know he's missed some big chances, especially against Roma, against Chelsea. He missed some big chances in recent games, but I don't think yet it's evidence that he's finished or anything like that. I think I think he's still got so much to provide and give. And clearly, we took him off at half time because we want to manage his minutes and keep him fresh for Thursday. But when he's playing like he did today and he looks fresh and his output is there, you can understand that. And as I say, stats wise, his goal contributions total is still pretty strong. So let's just hope he keeps going from strength to strength. But look, clean sheet tonight, obviously against a very weak Southampton team, but obviously a clean sheet with Forster, Gray, Spence in the back line. As much as we're playing weak opposition, how much praise do you give the defence for just making sure we didn't concede a goal?
The main thing is, I think they didn't make any mistakes. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes we give teams goals where are kind of our own downfall. And what I mean by that, sometimes in the build-up play, the first phase of attack, when we're trying to progress the ball, we often make mistakes in that kind of area. And so we let teams back into the game. But I felt like today, especially from the centre-backs, when we're playing sometimes in those channels, when we're playing out wide, the centre-backs were quite assured. So same with Forster and goal as well. I think him passing out from the back was better. He made those decisions a bit early, didn't take too many touches on the ball, and that helped the centre-backs get more time on the ball, and they can get their head up and play out. And I think that's a massive part of the way we play. Actual defending-wise, I thought Dragusin was the better of the two, if I'm being totally honest. And that was expected because he is a centre-back. You can see that he is a great box defender, and he got across his man, covered a lot of ground when needed to be, and did great challenges. I thought at the end, there was a great challenge actually by Archie Gray, where Southampton were coming across in the 6-yard box. There was a great ball into the box. I can't remember who it was. And he makes that last-ditch leg out, and it comes off him, and it goes off for a corner, goes over the bar. And I thought, Archie Gray did well there, using his almost like instinctive. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think not enough has been made of Gray this season in terms of an 18-year-old who's played full back, left back, right back, now coming at centre back past couple games, and has been looked pretty adequate in like all those positions. He hasn't even played in midfield yet, and for an 18-year-old to do that with the composure and the quality he's done it with, doesn't that just show what a talent we have on our hands?
Do you know what it is, Sim? I think because the price tag has always come along with Archie Gray, the expectation that he would start in midfield, and the fact that we are seeing him play out of position, I think that's.
But you need players like Gray, don't you? Versatile, filling themselves.
I hear you. I just think there's been times where in games where, despite him playing left back, despite him playing right back, despite him playing centre back, on the ball, when you do have a chance, you do get to see him. Decision making again. There's times I've seen him run out with the ball, and then like give it away in that particular area. If I'm nitpicking, do you know what I mean? And I know it's not his position, do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to string him up for that. But like the times you do get to see him on the ball, you're wondering, what's his range of passing? Like against, was it Galatasaray? I can't remember what it was. And he put a ball into, I think he was playing fullback. And he plays a ball into Lancashire for the goal. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah,
so
that
was
goal,
brilliant.
Yeah.
So like there's moments where I'm like, actually, you know what? He can do it. Do you know what I mean?
I just think I think people aren't speaking enough about what a talent he is in terms of what we've seen already in the Tottenham shirt. I think he's been fantastic, and I think he's been asked to do so many different roles, and he's adapted in each role. Like he even plays at left back sometimes, and he just adapts and puts in a really good shift. And to do that at 18, play all these different roles at such a asked to play all these different things from Ange Postecoglou, and just because he's not playing like Trent every game, like people think this guy isn't like an amazing talent. This guy's been brilliant, and I think today centre back in a Premier League game, I don't care if it's the bottom league, these guys, an 18-year-old midfielder playing at centre back, and we've kept a clean sheet, and he hasn't looked out of place. I think he deserves so much praise for how he's adapted to what has been, just in terms of the roles he's been asked, probably a difficult start to the season for him. I think probably at the start of the season, he expected, I'm going to probably fill in a right back and play in midfield. That's probably he thought. And because of all the injuries, because of all the circumstances, he's had to play all these different roles and do all this adaptation. And I think he's done a brilliant job. I really do. I want to give him a lot of props because I think he's been fantastic. And he's done everything with an element of composure, which is very rare to be seen in an 18-year-old, I think. And I think he deserves a lot of praise for me. But look, at the end of the day, it was only Southampton. That's what people will say. In terms of Ange in, Ange out, do you think the needle was moved at all after a game like today? Like, do you think people has it bought him time? Has it not changed anything? Has it not bought him any time? Like, obviously, a lot of people saying if we lose today, a lot of people saying he's got to go. But obviously, we're still expected to win. But 5-0, a lot of people probably expected a bit more of a difficult game than that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't think people are predicting the 5-0 off the back of the losses, the draws, and also it's not just the results, Sim, it's the performances. I think that's where fans have kind of been frustrated, and against the bottom team, you're expected to beat at least that. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the bare minimum. So I think some of the people that might have been Ange out, I don't think the needle would have moved from them because they would look at it like that, if that makes sense. And I said it before, it's all about Ange putting a run together because let's face it, if we are to hold on to players and attract players, we need to be higher up the table, despite being Tottenham Hotspur. Do you know what I mean? Despite having a massive stadium and a desirable facilities in terms of the training ground, etc., we have to be honest with ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And so we have struggled for consistency. And that's what's needed to whinge the Ange outers, I think, in my opinion.
It's a very big period now between, now and probably until that FA Cup game. We've got United in the Cup on Thursday, which is a massive game. Liverpool at home on the following Sunday. Jeez. Then Forest away, who are in great form. Wolves at home. And then Newcastle at home as well. So
Wolves might have a new manager by then.
Wolves probably will have a new manager by then.
Wolves, but not a bogey team, but we have struggled of late against Wolverhampton for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean? Nottingham Forest, great form at the moment, and they're 5th or 4th at the moment.
Not saying any of these games will be easy, or that none of these games clearly at the moment for Spurs, nothing's guaranteed. But hopefully that could be a chance for us to gain some more points. Look, at the moment, we're sitting in 10th. We are sitting in 10th on goal difference, by the way. It's level on points with Brentford and Newcastle, only 1 point ahead of United in 13th. But on the flip side, we are 3 points away. Sorry, we're 2 points away from 6th, Aston Villa. We're 5 points away from Man City in 5th. We're 6 points? We're 5 points. Sorry, 4 points away from City in 5th. Was 4 points away from City in 5th. 5 points away from Forest in 4th. Bit of a tongue twister, this. And whisper it very, very quietly. We're 7 points away from Arsenal in 3rd as well. So,
Oh, damn.
I'm just whispering it quietly. Don't shout it. We're 7 points away from
Oh,
Arsenal.
wow.
But yeah, look. As much as we're not, it's not going to change anyone's mind beating Southampton 5-0. It's still a very good win. There's a lot of positives to take, and if you're looking for Spurs to go on a run and looking for us to turn around this poor form, it has to start somewhere. And hopefully that can be a starting point. That's something to build on. Yeah. So, all right. Yes. But look, that is your instant match reaction to Tottenham's 5-0